Hi everybody, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert, back again for another Q&A. Thank you very much for sending in your questions, and thank you very much for tuning in and watching our videos. We love that you send in those questions, and we love your support around our channel. And as I always say with my trusty subscribe pillow, please hit that button down there that looks a little bit like this pillow, and let's get us to 1,000 subscribers. We'd love your support around the community, and please help us to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Alright, so into today's question. So today's question is around traveling with a wheelchair occupant in the rear of like a van type vehicle. So often in our industry what happens is people will convert like a commercial van, like a Toyota Hiace or a Volkswagen Crafter or a Mercedes Sprinter or something along those lines, into a wheelchair accessible van, so someone can enter through the rear or through the side and they'll be secured in the back. Often when you buy these cars, they're just a panel van with metal all around the sides, no windows or anything like that. So the question is, if we do a modification like that, do we have to put windows in the back for the wheelchair occupant? So I'll explain to you the rules, and the first part of the rules, I'll explain, I guess, is a bit more of my opinion. And my opinion is, yes, you should put windows in there because it allows the person to feel a bit more comfortable in the vehicle rather than being locked up in a box where they can't see anything. So in my opinion, because I'm all about the comfort of the transport for our occupants in our community, I think that yes, there should be windows there. However, the rule doesn't say you have to have it. The long and the short of the rule is no, you don't have to have windows. But there is sort of technicalities around it which is a bit more of a convoluted answer, which you may end up getting to the point where you do have to have windows. So the rule doesn't say when you have a panel van, if you put someone in the back, you have to have windows. What it actually says is there's two elements to it. You must have adequate ventilation, and it's a little bit open to interpretation. So what is adequate ventilation? It can either be via windows that open and close, or it can be via an air conditioning system or a ventilation system, or like the whirlybirds or whatever they have, right? So the requirement, first part of the requirement is you have to have adequate ventilation. The second part of the requirement is that basically the rule says that half of the windows on your vehicle must be able to be opened. So basically if you've got windows all around, right, and they're sort of solid windows that can't be opened in a van, that's going to be more than half of the windows that can't be opened. So you're going to have to be able to open half of those windows for passenger vehicles. And I guess the reason for they're saying that is because they want to achieve adequate ventilation. But there is more than one way to achieve adequate ventilation, as I said before. So it's a little bit open, so you can actually kind of make your own decision as to what would be more appropriate. However, generally speaking, the cheapest way is also putting in windows, because windows are a lot cheaper than an air conditioning system that you have to fit into the vehicle. The last part of the rule, it says that you have to have complete direct communication with the driver of the vehicle. So there can't be any barriers or anything like that, and if there is, you need to be able to have some kind of intercom system or something like that. So if you put all of those elements of the rule together, you will end up at a situation where you probably will have to put windows, or you end up putting windows because they're more feasible than putting in like the air conditioning or ventilation system, because something like that is typically an extremely expensive conversion. And I guess, again, coming back to my opinion, well, why would you go and spend all that money on an air conditioning or ventilation system when you can put in windows that open, you can offer a better view and more comfort to the occupants. The only time you would probably do something like that is if the ventilation thing would be if it was like a special need for the person to be cooled down at all times or heated up, or there was some kind of temperature control requirement. If there is nothing like that, then windows would probably be the way to go. Okay, so hopefully that answers your questions. In a nutshell, we don't need to have windows, but we must have adequate ventilation for the people in the rear, and if we do have windows, half of them must be able to be opened. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for sending in your questions. As I say, hit that subscribe button down there. Please help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Keep those questions coming in, and see you next time.